Today, we have to discuss about the computation of total income of individuals and also the computation of tax and liability as per the provisions of the assessment year of 2019-20. Taking the problem of heading number 3 here, Mr. Vinod submits the following particulars of his income for the year ending 31st March 2019. So end of 31st March 2019 is the relevant previous year or it is the financial year. Relevant to the problem, the given information is basic salary, DA, CCA and EA. The first 4 items are related to the computation of income from salary. Here basic salary is given, DA is given, CCA is given and EA is given. In addition to this one, there are no any other allowances and perquisites. Therefore, the gross salary becomes the total of the basic salary, DA, CCA and EA as computed in the statement here. Basic salary per month it is given 18,000. So per month it is 18,000, per annum it becomes 18,000. This is 2,16,000. And DA 6,000 per month, it is 72,000. CCA 600 per month, 7,200. EA 750 per month, 9,000. Okay, EA is to be included in the gross salary. Later on, if provisions are allowed, you have to give deduction under section 16 sub 2, that is to only to the government employees. So, taking all the 4 contents in total, that is 3,04,200 becomes the gross salary here. So from the gross salary, as usual, we have to give 3 deductions under section 16. That is, the first one is standard deduction. The standard deduction is rupees 40,000 or gross salary, whichever is less. So here 40,000 is less than the gross salary, therefore it is allowed. The second deduction under section 16 is the entertainment allowance. It is allowed only to the government employees, but here the assessee is not given as a government employee, hence we have to assume that is a non-government employee, hence EA deduction is not available. And the third deduction under section 16 is the provision, that is the professional or employment tax. So here there is no any information regarding the payment of professional tax by the assessee, hence that also not available as a deduction. So therefore the gross salary is 3,04,200 and the deduction available under section 16 in total it is 40,000. Therefore the total is 3,04,200 minus of 40,000 is equal to 2,64,200 is the taxable salary. Then the second head of income is the income from HP. Related to the income from HP, they are given here. Rent from house property rupees 60,000 per annum. So here rent received per month, municipal taxes or otherwise information is not given here. Only the rent is given here. So therefore the annual rent will be taken as the net annual value here. So even though there is the municipal taxes, hence why rent from house, that is the net annual value is rupees 60,000. From this one under section 24, we have to give the standard deduction at the rate of 30% of net annual value. That is 30% of 60,000 comes to 18,000 rupees. So therefore 60,000 minus standard deduction available under section 60 under section 24 is 18,000. Therefore the net taxable income from house property is 42,000. Next, by observing the given accounting information related to Mr. Vinod, there is no information regarding the income from business and profession. Therefore, profits and gains from business and profession is nil. So then is they are given here is that is as per the point number 8, he had sold another residential house on 1/4/2018. That is the beginning of the previous year for is 22,000. Its fair market value as on 1/4/2019 was 6 lakhs and cost of indexed cost of inflation index for 2001 and 218 and 19 to 18. So this is the topic related to capital gains. The fourth head of income, that is capital gains. The full sale consideration, that is the actual sale value given is rupees 22 lakhs here. So from 22 lakhs we have to give deduction of indexed cost of acquisition. That is the fair market value as on 1/4/2018. They are given 6 lakhs. Indexing, that is a 280 divided by 100. So indexed cost of fair market value, nothing but indexed cost of acquisition is 16 lakhs 80,000 and therefore the taxable income from capital gains is 5 lakhs 20,000. Then the fifth head is income from other sources. So referring the information given here, the incomes related to other sources is one is the agricultural income, another is the dividend received from Reliance Industries. So agricultural income they are given, but where it is earned they are not given. Hence why we have to assume that the agricultural income is earned in India. So therefore, agricultural income in India is completely exempted from tax under Section 10. Then the next one is dividend received from Reliance Industries Limited. The location or situation of the Reliance Industries Limited is not given. Therefore, we have to assume that it is one of the Indian company. Therefore, the dividend received from any Indian company is exempted. So therefore, apply that one, that is income from the other sources. Agriculture income in India exempt, dividend from Indian company exempt. Therefore, income from other sources is nil. So therefore, the gross total income, nothing but the total taxable income from all the five heads. The total taxable income from all the five heads, rupees 8,26,000 is the gross total income of the assessee. So likely we have to calculate the gross total income here. So gross total income is nothing but the taxable income from all the five heads of income. All the five heads of income is, the first one is salary income, the second one is house property, third one is capital gains, third one is profits and gains from business and profession, fourth one is capital gains, and the fifth one is income from other sources. Dear students, so whenever we need to calculate the total taxable income of any assessee, first of all we have to compute the taxable income from each of the five heads. Then we have to get it totalized. The totalized taxable income of all the five heads will be technically called as gross total income. Okay, so in this problem we have to learn only up to the stage of calculation of gross total income. Okay. The next problem, that is the problem containing the cell number 5. Here is given. Following are the particulars of Mr. Vignesh for the assessment year 2019-20. Here we have to compute the income and tax liability. So here we are going to study up to the end of the topic of computation of total income and tax liability. So before the commencement of computation of gross total income and total income, first of all we have to see the incomes which are given and related to each of the particular heads. So related to that one, winning from Kerala State Lottery is the income from other sources. Okay. Then life insurance premium paid. So it is an expenditure which is eligible for deduction under section 80C. Casual income from transferred vessels. It is the income taxable under other heads. Business income, that is the income taxable under the head of profits and gains of business and profession. Rent from house property, it is taxable under the head house property. Municipal taxes paid on the property, it is allowed to deduct from the rent received to calculate the taxable income from house property. Long-term capital gains, so as usual it is related to capital gains head. So after analyzing the given information and decided to the heads to which the given incomes are belongs, we have to go for the calculation of the first step in the calculation of total income, that is 1 plus computation of gross total income. So in the gross total income, the first head, that is already we are decided, the gross total income is the taxable income. It's the taxable income of each of the five heads. The total taxable income of all the five heads gathered together, that the total is to be called as a gross total income. So the first step in the computation of tax liability is the computation of gross total income. The first head is income from salary. So no any income related to salary given here. Therefore, income from salary is nil. And the second head is income from house property. Here they are given in the point number 5, rent from house property. So that is rent from house property rupees 20,000 and given municipal tax is 2,000. Therefore, gross annual value is rupees 18,000. The gross annual value itself is taken as a net annual value here, that is 18,000. Next, as usual, from the income of house property, we have to do a standard rate of 30% of NAV. So NAV is 18,000, 13% of 18,000 is rupees 5,400. Therefore, the taxable income from house property is 12 lakhs. sorry, 12,600. That is 18,000 minus 5,400 is equal to 12,600. The third head of income is, that is the profits and gains from business and profession. Okay, here they are given directly. Business income is 6,93,800. So no more information given. Therefore, we have to assume that this is 6,93,800 is the computed income. The fourth head is capital gains. Here also, in respect of the capital gains, directly they are given in the point number 7 called long-term capital gains. The long-term capital gains are rupees 30,000. Next, and the last head of income is income from other sources. So income from other sources includes winning from state lottery. It is not the net amount, it is the gross amount given. Therefore, directly we are taken as 1 lakh, and winning from crossword puzzles is 2 lakhs, sorry, 2,400. And moreover, any expenses related to earning of these incomes is not given. Therefore, deductions are nil, assuming likely the taxable income from other sources is 1,02,800. Gross total income, that is the taxable income of all the 5 heads commencing from salary to income from other sources, is rupees 8,38,800. The gross total income. To calculate the taxable income or total income from the gross total income, we have to keep deductions under section 80C to 80U. So, comprising the deductions from 80C to 80U, here only one is given, that is life insurance premium. The life insurance premium on the own life of the assessee, on the life of the spouse, or on the life of the family members. Okay, he is allowed to deduct under a section 80C to the extent of 20% of the policy value, 20% of the policy value, or 20% of the assured value, or actual premium paid, whichever is less. So here policy value is not given, therefore we have to assume that the premium paid itself is eligible for reduction, that is 20,000. So therefore, gross total income is 8,38,800, and deductions from under section 80C to 80U is only 20,000. Therefore, taxable income, gross total income plus deductions under section 80 is equal to taxable income, that is 8,38,800 minus of 20,000 is equal to 8,18,600 is the taxable income. So after the computation of taxable income, the third step or the last step in the process of computation of the tax liability is computation of tax liability. That is, we have to calculate the amount of tax payable by the assessee as per the prevailing rates of income tax as per the assessment year. That is, our assessment year is 2019-20. The rates of taxes applicable for the 19-20 is applied here. So, in the computation of tax liability, out of the total taxable income, we have to separate the casual income and long-term capital gains. And the long-term capital gains, the rate of tax applicable is 20%. So, the amount of long-term capital gains given is 30,000. That is 30,000 or 30,000 or 20%. Amount of tax is 6,000. On the casual income or short-term capital gains, the rate of tax is 30,000. Okay, so out of the long-term capital gains already given here, it is the income from other sources, it is given is 1,02,400. So excluding the long-term capital gain, the income from that is the casual income from other sources, it is applicable at the rate of 30%. So on 1,02,400, 30% becomes 30,720. So out of the 8,18,600, if the capital gains and casual incomes are separated, the remaining total income becomes rupees 6,86,200. That is, total income 8,18,600 minus 1,02,400 of casual income and 30,000 of LTCG. Total it is 1,32,400. Then the remaining taxable income is 6,86,200. Okay, so on this 6,86,200, assuming the assessee is non-senior, a person whose age is not exceeding 60 years, we are going to compute the taxable. Here, in the computation of taxable income, tax liability on the taxable income, first of all, being the non-senior, the ceiling limit, exempted amount, rupees 2,50,000 is to be deducted. So from the 6,86,200, the ceiling limit or exempted limit is 2,50,000 is deducted. Next, on the next 2,50,000, so that is out of 6,86,200. We are deducted 2,50,000. After the deduction of next slab is rupees 2,50,000, and the next slab of 2,50,000 have to pay 20% of tax. That is 20% of next 5 lakhs. That is 5 lakhs. That is 5% of the next 2,50,000. That 2,50,000 into 5% is equal to 12,500. So from the total 6,86,200, we are separated 5 lakhs here. Okay. So after deduction of 5 lakhs, the remaining amount is 6,86,200 minus of 5 lakhs is equal to 1,86,200. On this balancing figure of 1,86,200, the next slab of rate is 20%. So 20% of 1,86,200 is equal to 37,280. So therefore, total taxable income, tax liability is rupees. There is a small changes here. Total tax liability is rupees. Yes, this is 86,500. That is long-term capital gains 6,000, casual income 30,720. Then on the remaining balance it is 12,500 under 37,280 and 20% totally 86,500 is the total tax liability. And the total tax liability we have to add surcharge. A surcharge is the tax on tax. Surcharge is the tax on tax. It is to be levied provided the total income exceeds rupees 50 lakhs. But in this case, the total income of the assessee is less than rupees 50 lakhs. Therefore, surcharge is nil. Okay. So then you have to levy health and educational cess. So levy of health and educational cess is compulsory. Okay, whether the surcharge may be there or may not be there, but we have to charge the cess here. The cess is fixed at 4% of tax. The cess is to be calculated on the total tax liability and surcharge. Calculated on both total tax liability and surcharge. But here surcharge is nil because the amount of total income is 50 lakhs. And therefore total tax liability is only 86,500. On the 86,500, if we are calculated 4%, it becomes 3,460. So therefore here total tax liability 86,500 and cess is 3,460. Total tax liability payable by the assessee to the government is 89,960. Okay. So from this one, you have to give rebate of rupees 37. Rebate under section 87A. The rebate under section 87A is available only when the total income does not exceed 3,50,000. Is given in the red mark here. Okay, but here the total income of the assessee is 8 lakhs and change. It is much more than 3,50,000. Therefore, rebate under section 87A is not applicable. Then the net amount of tax payable by the assessee to the government is 89,960. So likely, the next problem is Mr. Shankar, a businessman, give the following particulars of his income for the financial year 1890. You are required to compute the taxable income and tax liability for the assessment in 2019-20. So given information is business income. It is a computed one. We need to calculate it. Income from house property. It is also calculated one. 42,000. Interest on government securities. Taxable underpaid income from other sources. 60,000. Long-term capital gain. Goes to the capital gains. It is 36,000. Crossword puzzles winning. It is a taxable underpaid income from other sources. 21,000. So there are the certain incomes which are to be given. In addition to that one, he had paid life insurance premium. The payment of life insurance premium is allowed to be deducted under section 80C to the extent of 20% of the policy value or actual premium paid, whichever is less. Okay. Here, insurance premium paid is rupees 15,000. Policy value is not here. Therefore, we are going to give deduction to the extent of premium, that is 15,000. And then he has deposited in bank deposit for a term of this. So deposit in the banks cannot be given, but if there is an interest on the bank deposit, we have to give deduction. 80 PTA. Okay, so taking this information, first of all, as a step number one in the computation of tax liability is computation of gross total income. So in the computation of gross total income here, income salary not given nil, income proposed property computed given 42,000, profits and gains of business and profession computed a calculated one 8 lakhs 46,000, long-term capital gains 36,000, and the fifth head is income from other sources. Here, interest on government securities 61,000 and winning from cross-border possess 21,000. Total income from other sources is 81,000. So now, total of all the five heads called what class gross total income is 10 lakhs of 5,000. From the 10 lakh 5,000 of gross total income, we have to give deductions under section 80C to 80U. Only one deduction is given, that is payment of LSC premium under 80C, that is 15,000 fully it is given. Therefore, 10 lakhs 5,000 minus of 15,000, the taxable income is rupees 9 lakhs 90,000. So one step is over. Okay, that covers two steps here. One is gross total income as well as computation of taxable income. After the computation of taxable income, the third step or the last step in the computation of tax liability is the computation of amount of tax payable by the assessee to the government. So, as usual, out of the total taxable income, first of all, you have to separate the long-term capital gains because the rate of tax is 20% flat. So, on 36,000 at the rate of 20%, the amount of tax payable is 7,200. And then casual income on this one, a flat rate of 30% fixed it, which is chargeable, therefore is also separated. So casual income, as per the earlier statement, it is 21,000. 21,000 into 30% is equal to 6,300. So out of the total taxable income of 9,96,000, if the long-term capital gains as well as the casual income of 21,000 is deducted, then the remaining taxable income is 9,34,000. Here, being the individual not exceeding the age of 60 years, he is to be chargeable to the tax according to the prevailing rates. So, as an individual, the ceiling limit out of the taxable income, he need not to pay any tax on the first 2,50,000, that is 2,50,000. So then, on the remaining the next 2,50,000, you have to charge tax at the rate of 5%. So on the next 2,50,000 into 5% is equal to 12,500. Okay. So out of this remaining balance of 9,49,000, if 5 lakhs is deducted, the balance is 4,34,000. Okay. So on the means on the next 5 lakhs we have to charge 20%, but the remaining balance is less than 5 lakhs. Therefore, on the remaining net balance of 4,34,000, we have to charge tax at the rate of 20%. So 20% of 4,34,000 is equal to 86,800. Then the total tax amount is 7,200 plus 6,300 plus 12,500 and finally 86,800 is equal to 1,12,800 is the total tax before surcharge and rebate. Okay, so surcharge is to be levied at the rate of 10% provided the total income exceeds 50 lakhs. But here total income is less than 50 lakhs, therefore surcharge is nil. However, you have to charge cess at the rate of 4% on the total tax and surcharge. Here surcharge is nil. Tax is 1,12,800 or 1,12,800 at the rate of 4%. The cess becomes 4,512. Therefore, total tax payable by the assessee to the government called net tax liability is 1,17,312. And here also the total income exceeds rupees 2,50,000. Therefore, rebate under section 87A is not applicable. So the next problem given is following are the incomes of Sri Rangam for the assessment year 18-19. Sorry, financial year 18-19. Compute taxable income and tax liability for the assessment year 19-20. So pension per month, it is a taxable under that salary. Interest on SB account, taxable under other sources. Dividend received, taxable under other sources. Deposit public provident fund, it is a deduction available under section 80C. Received share of income from HGF, taxable under the head income from other sources. There we have to see whether it is taxable or exempted. Then head examiner's examination. Head or assistant, that is not the matter. Here The fact is that it is an examination remuneration taxable under income from other sources. Next, income from business. It is taxable under business and profession. So, taking this information, first of all, you have to calculate the gross total income. That is the taxable income from each of the 5 heads of income, commencing from income from salary to income from other sources. So, taking this one as a fact, now income from salary, that is the pension per month, is given 6,750 into 12 is equal to 81,000. So there is the only one source of salary income available here. From this one, taking 81,000 as the gross salary, we have to give deduction in section 16, that is standard deduction, gross salary, or rupees 40,000, whichever is this. So 40,000 is less, therefore 40,000 deduction is given. Then the taxable salary income, that is 81,000 minus of 40,000 is equal to 41,000 in the taxable salary. The second one is income from house property. It is not given, not applicable to the assessee. Then profits and gains from business and profession, computed, given 3 lakhs. Capital gains, not given. Income from other sources, that is interest on bank deposit, 10,000. Again, it is given as a deduction in section 80 TTA. Dividend received from Unit Trust of India. Unit Trust of India or Indian company, both are exempted. Share of income from HGF, exempted. Examiner remuneration, 4,000 is taxable. Then the total taxable income from other sources are 14,500. Okay, so then total of the income, total taxable income from salary to other sources is 3,55,500. Okay, from this one we have to give eligible deductions. So here eligible deduction is one is a deposit into PPF, that is Public Provident Fund, or section 80C, 10,000 fully allowed. Next, interest on bank deposit under section 80 TTA, actual interest are 10,000, which are useless. So here actual interest is 10,000 and limit also 10,000. So 10 plus 10, 20,000 deduction is available from 80C to 80U. So total taxable, that is the gross total income, is 3,55,500, and the deductions available in this case is 20,000. Therefore, taxable income of the assessee is 3,55,500. On this 3,55,500, now we have to calculate the amount of tax payable, that is the tax liability. So here exempted, here no capital gains, no casual incomes. Therefore, directly we are going to assess the tax liability of an individual, assuming that his age is less than 60 years. So being the person or non-senior, first 2,50,000 is completely exempted from tax. So from the 3,35,500, if we are separated 2,50,000 and its tax amount is nil, then remaining is 5%. Is total 3,35,500. From this one, 2,50,000 is exempted. The remaining balance is only 85,000, and the 85,000 we have to charge a tax at the rate of 5%. So here 85,500 into 5% is equal to 4,275. Therefore, total tax left is 4,275 and a rebate. So here rebate is the total income is less than 50,000. So therefore, rebate is available to the extent of 2,500 total tax liability. Total tax liability is 4,275, but rebate limited to 2,500 only. Therefore, 4,275 minus a rebate 2,500. Remaining balance of tax liability is 1,775. On this 1,775, surcharge is not applicable because the amount of total income is less than 50 lakhs, but we have to charge the cess, that is health and educational cess, at the rate of 4% on 1,775 becomes 71 rupees. So then total tax liability becomes 1,846, that is 1,775 plus 71 is equal to 1,846, but it is rounded up to next 10, which means 1,850 will be the amount of tax payable to the government. It is a fact related to the next problem given is related to Mr. Anand. So observing the income information given here is they are given the profit and loss account of the assessee. The statement, just by observing the statement, but at the end they are given the net profit rundown. And here debit and credit side information is there. For the information appearing on the debit side, they are the expenses deducted by the assessee according to the accounting information, not according to the IT information, IT rules. And credit side, they are given the incomes. They are the incomes according to the accounting procedure, not according to the income tax procedure. Therefore, what the incomes and expenses recorded in the profit and loss account of the assessee, they are according to the accounting rules. The income assessed under according to accounting rules has to be converted into income as per income tax rules. So therefore, first of all, as and when this kind of information is given, before the computation of gross total income, first of all, we have to compute the taxable income from business or profession. Okay, so therefore, first of all, as a step number one, in this case, first of all, we have to calculate the taxable income from business. Okay, so taxable income from business will be calculated under commercial method here. That is, out to the given net profit, disallowed expenses, any expenses which are shown on the debit side, but not related to the business are to be added back. So expenses which are not related to the business, which needs to be added back to the net profit, are called as disallowed expenses. Along with the adding of disallowed expenses, if there are any other incomes given in the additional information, but not recorded on the credit side of the P&L account, called unrecorded incomes. So therefore, any incomes are taxable under the business, but not credited in the P&L account, they have to be added. So to the net profit, first of all, we have to add disallowed expenses and incomes are taxable under business. Incomes taxable under business, but not credited in the P&L. So taking that one as a first step in the computation of business income. Here, net profit given as per the P&L account is 1,12,000 rupees. To this one, we have to add disallowed expenses and incomes taxable under business, but not credited in the P&L account. So expenses debited in the P&L account, not related to the business, or in other words, which are disallowed as per the Income Tax Act, are one is proprietor salary 60,000, drawings 20,000, both are bonus personal, interest on capital also bonus direct, that is rupees 40,000, reserve for VAT, any reserves, even the reserves and taxes are also not allowed, provided the reserves kept for taxes but not paid before the date of submission of ID returns are also be disallowed. Therefore, here reserve for VAT is disallowed 20,000, and transfer to any reserves and surpluses are also disallowed 80,000. Therefore, total disallowed expenses are rupees 2,20,000. There are no any incomes given in the adjustments which are related to the business. Therefore, the next step in the computation of business income is less incomes are credited in the P&L account. There are some incomes which are credited in the P&L account, but those credited incomes are not related to the business, means they are chargeable under another heads of income. So here, gross profit, business, rent received, income from house property, dividend from Indian company, taxable under then income from other sources, share of profit from HUF, also taxable under that income from other sources. Therefore, here the rent received, dividend from Indian company, share of profit from HUF, they are not the incomes earned under the head of business, which are taxable under the other heads. Therefore, both 75,000 of rent received, 40,000 of dividends, and 60,000 of share of income from HUF are to be deducted. So taking that one as here. So here, less, that is income taxable under other heads. The one is rent received 75,000, dividend from Indian company 40,000, share of profit from HUF 60,000. Total amount of incomes which are taxable under the other head but included in the net profit of the P&L account is rupees 1,75,000. So therefore, here net profit as per P&L account 1,12,000 plus disallowed expenses 2,20,000 minus deductible amount 1,75,000. The remaining taxable income of business is 1,57,000. So after the computation of income from business, the second step, likely in this type of questions, the next step is computation of the taxable income, that is gross total income and taxable income. So first of all, as usual, we have to calculate the gross total income. Here, gross total income, salary income is nil, income from house property, rent received 75,000, municipal tax paid given the P&L account debit side 5,000. Therefore, the balance is 70,000. So annual value 70,000 is there. Then standard deduction rate of 30% goes to 21,000 is to be deducted here. Then the balance of income is rupees 49,000. That is the income from HP. Then income from business and profession computed given 57,000. Capital gains not given, it is nil. Then income from other sources, that is interest on bank deposit 6,000. Then dividend from Indian company exempted. Share of income from HCF is also exempted. Therefore, taxable income from other sources is 6,000. So therefore, gross total income is rupees 6,000 here. Total gross total income. Income from other sources is 6,000 and gross total income commencing from salary nil to the income from other sources of 6,000. It is 2,12,000 rupees only. Here also, the total income, gross total income is 2,12,000. Next, deductions. Investment in NSC, ATC, 10,000 is available. Donation to notified temple, 80,000 available under 80G, 5,000 rupees. Interest from bank deposit, 88A, maximum 6,000. That is actual interest, maximum 6,000. Maximum 10,000, 6,000. So therefore, total deductions available under section 80C to 80E. 80C 10,000, G 5,000, TTA 6,000, totally 21,000. So therefore, gross total income is 2,12,000. Deductions available under section 80, 21,000. Therefore, taxable income is rupees 1,91,000. Okay. So on this 1,91,000, you have to calculate the amount of tax payable by the assessee. So here the assessee is given, but his age is not given. Therefore, you have to assume that he is the individual not exceeding the age of 60 years, means non-junior, non-senior. Being the non-senior, up to 2,50,000, he need not to pay tax. Means it is an exempted or ceiling limit. So therefore, the taxable income is 1,91,000, less than the ceiling limit. Therefore, his tax liability in this case is nil. Okay, dear students, this is the way of computation of gross total income, taxable income or total income, and then tax liability of the assessee. It includes step number 1, calculation of gross total income. Step number 2, calculation of total taxable income, and then step number 3, computation of the tax liability. Okay, so likely you have to make a practice of the problems given on this one. For this,